Good morning and welcome to Nigeria Now on ECWA TV Africa. I hope you are doing well this beautiful day. Thank God it's Friday. Lois.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a beautiful day. We thank God
Yeah.
for the gift of life.
Sure. So with the fuel scarcity all over the country, how do you intend to spend your weekend?
I think I'll be on my bed
Yeah.
to save myself the stress. Because if you want to go out, you start thinking of the transportation and the whole issue of the scarcity. It has been a lot of it has brought a lot of issues and questions from Nigerians about how this thing is going. Talking about a country that has petrol as the mainstay and the main, we depend so much on it. Why is it that there's so much scarcity here and there? And it's specifically in some part of the country, talking about Lagos and Abuja, where we have the major those are the major cities we have in the country, and these two major cities are going through this this scarcity. Even in Jos, you see some of these places to have long queues. Some of the fuel stations don't even have the fuel and all of that. So it has really brought a lot of questions from Nigerians, and even we too are asking. We want to know what's happening, and then the fact that this issue of scarcity didn't just start this month. It started since from the beginning of the year, talking about the removal of subsidy. Fuel stations started hoarding this PMS, that's the premium motor spirit that they had in the stations. And then later on, the government said they were not going to remove the subsidy, but still we still see this thing ongoing, like the scarcity. So it's just a lot of issues.
Okay, you are on to Equa Television, and then the program is Nigeria Now, where we bring issues that really concern Nigeria. And today we are going to look at fuel subsidy, how it's affecting everything, our day-to-day activities. You can do well to follow us. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. You can drop your comment and then let's know how the issue of fuel subsidy is really affecting you. There's this the president of Pengaston, Mr. Festus Osifo, they grant him an interview, and then they were asking him why is it that Nigerians are going through this fuel palaver, and you see as if there's no problem. Just so for instance, we saw how almost every state, with the issue of fuel scarcity, and then like you said earlier, when you hear people talk about Lagos, because they feel Lagos, Abuja, they are the major city, in Nigeria, and then when you talk about Abuja, people feel this is the seat of power. Is a federal capital territory of the country, where the power is situated, and then you can imagine, people going through hell simply because they want to get PMS. And you start wondering, and people start asking why. I remember one of the promises of this regime is that there will be availability of fuel, and then people will buy in more cheaper rate. And then since then till now, you always hear these prices skyrocketing, and then even the gas stations, selling at their own, I don't know how to put it.
There's no form of regulation or something.
You begin to wonder.
It's really alarming the way things are being done in this country. Like, we have regulations, we have laws, we have all manner of things, but sometimes you just wonder what's actually happening, because is it that those people placed in that authority, are they not doing what they are supposed to do, or is it that Nigerians are too stubborn to adhere to simple rules? those are some of the questions you were asked. Talking about the Federal Capital Territory that is supposed to be, I feel it's supposed to be the example to many other states. Like, let's see things happening. When you talk about power failure, you talk about Abuja. When you talk about fuel scarcity, Abuja is mentioned. Like, really, what is really happening?
Begin to wonder where to take the cue.
It's not like we're trying to paint our country black, but we are just calling on the attention of the right people in power, like not just the government, but the people of authority that are supposed to do something about it. We're just trying to bring your attention to that fact that the state of the let's say the engine room of the country, which is the Federal Capital Territory, shouldn't be the number amongst the list of places that have been mentioned because of one issue or one failure or the other. It should be an example to other governors to copy or to do otherwise than calling the Federal Capital Territory when you have lack of power. It's there, scarcity is there, Boko Haram insurgent is no.
You know, his explanation, he said that the problem is not the commodity. That presently now we have almost 2 billion liters already stored in different depots in this
even
country.
In the private
NNPC depot and then the private owners. But his explanation, he said, taking this commodity to every state, every nooks and cranny of the state, it demands transportation. And then the only means of transporting this commodity is by truck. And then they had an agreement with the truck owners or drivers, and then they are paying, they agreed to pay 10 naira per liter, depending on the location.
10 naira 40.
Yes, per liter. It depending on the location. And then the issue is not about 10 naira 40 kobo per liter, but when they had that agreement, a liter of diesel was 250, and now and that's what that's what the truck use, diesel, to power the truck. And then now diesel is 700, so
800.
800. Yes, it depends on where you are even buying, so that really affects the fuel scarcity based on what he's saying, because even the tanker drivers didn't see it visible, buying diesel at 800, as you said, and then you are moving, let's take for instance from Lagos to Kano,
or maybe to Maiduguri.
So they just feel it's better they didn't even travel. So because there's no gain if you look at it critically. So now he's saying this is one of the reasons why the fuel scarcity, we can see it everywhere. And then he talked about even the depot owners. The issue now is not even the scarcity. Now even getting the pump price, people sell at 200. The private depot owners, NNPC is the sole importer of this particular commodity, and if you are buying in their depot, is around 148 naira per liter. And then the private depot, now they build those depot to store. They are doing storage.
Yes.
So when you are lifting from there, they sell around 150, 155, and then 160, some 165. So now they are saying, okay, the government is saying you must sell this fuel at 165, the approved government price, by so I begin to see, okay, how is it visible, Lois?
I don't think it's not really like if you're into all these things because you are trying to maximize profit, and if you're going to not get your profit at the end of the day, then I don't see why you should continue in that line of business. So I think that's why the truck drivers are saying no, we are not going to transport at this rate of 10 naira per 40 kobo per liter.
Per liter.
It has to be more because at that time, like you have mentioned, it was 200 naira. Now is 700 to 800 naira depending on where you want to even buy it. So why should I even go through the stress of doing that? And look at the hazards on our highways, and you go through all of that just for 10 naira 40 kobo. It's not okay. But based on what the president has said, that's the Pengassan president said, they are still having discussions with the federal government on how to even increase the money for them, maybe to 20 naira or so that they will be able to have this fuel to distribute to other states, and then probably things will change. But you know, that was not even the issue when this first scarcity started. That's early this year. It was said that the adulterated fuel was transported to the country and all of that. That was the initial report we got, right? Then now it's about the truck drivers refusing to distribute this PMS because of the issue of the price and all of that. But I just hope that these discussions will happen fast so that they will reach a consensus, and at the end of the day we'll have this thing distributed so that this fuel scarcity, and you know, the issue of fuel scarcity is even adding to the transport. Okay, but based on the report, it was said that the issue of fuel scarcity is not really the reason why transport fare is being increased. I don't know how to really balance that, but it's really funny how transport fare has skyrocketed especially this year when we started the year, because the federal government said it was going to remove full subsidy, and at the end of the day they saw it was going to be a whole lot on the masses, on an average Nigeria, so they did not. But we have seen now that fuel subsidy is going to increase to 4 trillion naira, right? At the end of that's this year now that we are in. So at the end of the day, we see that fuel subsidy is even eating a whole chunk of our the budget in the country.
Yes.
Money that is supposed to be used for the masses to build infrastructure and other things that we are struggling with in this country, now is being used for fuel subsidy. And if you remove it, it's going to even add to the problems of an average Nigeria.
But the subsidy, you know, based on the federal government, they say it's because of the masses. That's why they are even paying the subsidy, because every government normally do subsidize some certain things, you know, in the country for the masses. And you will find out that sometimes they subsidize electricity, they subsidize fuel. It depending on what the country feel like they should subsidize for the masses. And then you look at the issue of this subsidy. I think it's something that the government should really look into. I just feel because the question that people ask out there is that, okay, who are the people benefiting, you know, from this subsidy money? Sometimes they will tell you that because it's NNPC that is the sole have the right to import this commodity. They are the only ones that can tell you how many liters they have imported to this country. So even some people are even raising questions to the number that NNPC is dishing out there, based on what they will tell you that this year they imported so number of petroleum of PMS, and then people will start asking, who is there to verify whether
this is the figures are right?
And then because this subsidy are being paid based on the number of liters being exported, you know, to this country. So even the masses are asking, don't we think even at that there are areas that we need to look into because of issue of fraud? because we can't be paying this amount of money in paying subsidy, and then still yet the masses are the ones now crying because they are buying it not even in the subsidized rates, because in subsidized rate, that means every Nigerian should buy PMS at the rate of 165. But we are buying from the range of 190, 195 to 200. Sometimes if you buy the 190, you are as well buying it at the rate of 200 because the pump has been adjusted. So you are not even sure. You are just in between. So is it the way to go in this country?
Of course, it's not the way to go. It's not the way to go, because I know some people were saying that they should just remove the subsidy and then let's just deal with it. But then, can we really deal with it if it's removed? And if it's not removed, it's still a lot of issues. So there's just a way that they have to balance this thing, because removal or not removal, we're still feeling the weight of it. So how do we go about changing the things, like changing the narrative, so that at the end of the day, a country that has so much fuel will not be having the issues of scarcity and all of that? We've seen other countries that are not even producing all these things, and if they have the issue of scarcity, then it's fine because they don't even have it. But for a country that has it, then there should be ways that will be made available so that the issue of scarcity will not even come up in the first place. You know, we're talking about Dangote making his refinery, and then other refineries in the country that should start operation again, because if we have all the refineries that are working presently in the country, then we'll be able to have local production will ease all of this. I don't think when we start local production, then we won't have the need to pay subsidy to any country. Look at the issue of Ukraine and Russia now. It's making a lot of issues to the world globally, like when it comes to, because Russia is one of the largest distributor of fuel, and now they are having these issues, and then there are so many sanctions from other countries just for them to see how they can check what is happening and see how Russia will stop the attack on Ukraine. And then some of these countries that get their fuel from Russia now have to stop taking from Russia. And had it been we are doing local production in this country, we'll be able to even boost our economy from that, because since they are not even dependent on Russia anymore, most of these countries, we will be able to transport. But we can't even do that because we don't even have, we also give other countries to refine it for us, and then we buy it back to the country. You see, it's just a lot. It's just a lot. And until these things are being done, I've seen that report says the Port Harcourt refinery is being they are working on it right now to see how it can start production. So when those things are being put in place, I think things will reduce to a very minimal level. But for now, we'll still have to continue all these things, except the right things are being done, and that's local production.
Do you know that NNPC spent 100 billion on refinery rehabilitation in 2021? That's huge money. That's huge money. And I remember this country, you know, when some people are campaigning, they talked about refinery. We can't be one of the major supplier of crude oil in the world, and then we can't even boast of one refinery that is really functional. You know, this Kaduna refinery has been down even before Goodluck, and then up to now. And like one of our program, you know, we talked about how people in that refinery that are not working, because the refinery still is not working, but you have people that every year you capture their wages, you know, in our budget, and then you begin to see how government waste money, you know, paying people that are not productive. And it's not that this refinery cannot be put in place, you know. Look at the money being voted for, you know, for rehabilitation, you know, of that refinery. So you'll be hearing, you know, them going back and forth, and you start wondering. It is an eyesore. It is unacceptable. You know, that is why people will not look at us and respect us even in the global world, because they feel why should you have such blessed country with so much resources, and then you don't know how to manage it. Sometimes when you talk about fuel scarcity, there's a way they will look at you, and then
You have fuel.
people will
have
be,
fuel scarcity. Like
you are a major supplier of crude
crude oil.
to the world, and then your masses are suffering. There's a way they will look at you as a very, very irresponsible, nation. So I think it is very key. It is very important. We should put our refineries well, because if you look at this issue of transportation, it affects everything. It affects everything, because if you look at it now, your budget for transportation last year, that's not what you are getting. If you budget 4,000 naira, for instance, it's not 4,000 naira you'll be spending, because everything now has changed. They will now tell you, no, this place is no longer 50 naira.
It's 100 naira.
It's 100, and they will stage a fight, and you will start wondering, is it your fault?
We've seen situations that drivers and passengers have fought, and even we've seen the issue in Lagos about the Okada rider and then the passenger, and he was even burnt to death, and now there's the ban of Okada in Lagos because of all these things. So it's not just about us talking about it that there's, but we are experiencing it. We've seen how a short distance of 50 naira now is 100 naira, and it's not like minimum wage has added. Right?
That is it. That's
it's
another
not like
angle.
it has added, but then we have to deal with the issue of increase in transportation, which is not. Will you think about food, or you think about transportation, or other things that you need money to buy?
Even the commodities, they will tell you transport fare has skyrocketed, and then before we used to transport this at so amount, so because
day
of
when
that,
you go to the market, you don't even hear about dollar has increased. It's transport now.
Yes. I think it's the transport now. They are competing with dollar. Yeah. It's not really funny, but we pray and we have hope for this country, Lois, and we believe that things will be fine, things will be better. We keep praying for this new Nigeria that all we yearn for, we hope to see, and it's coming very soon. It's coming very soon.
We pray every day for our country to be better. It's not about running out of the country and going to other countries to develop. We want to develop our country too. We want to be okay like we were before, to go out of our doors in peace, to have fuel available, food available, and every other thing available to every other person in this country. That's our hope and our prayer every day.
Thank you, Lois, for doing this today with me.
Thank you for having me.
And for you out there, we want to say thank you so much for staying with Ekwa Television. May God bless you and keep you safe as you continue with your activities for the day. Bye-bye.